Hi, today we're going over the fact that you're responsible for your own opinion and I'm responsible for mine, and how that can affect your life by taking responsibility for your own opinions and watching out some practices. I got a great story that just really hits it home. So let's do this. Okay, so in this concept that you're responsible for your own opinions, and then you have to understand there's a difference between what you're seeing and what is happening. Okay. Um, I'm going to start off with color theory. Okay. So this shirt, you could call it turquoise. Some folks might call it blue or whatever you call it. It's not the thing you call it. And your language affects how you think about things, how you perceive things. But whatever it is, just calling it that doesn't make it that. Okay. The word is not the thing. So the other thing is it blue? No, it's not. And we know that in color theory and science, this is fact not blue. This is reflecting blue. Okay. And reflecting blue means that I don't even know what color this is. And so literally all of creation, that how we experience our life, I don't know about all of creation, I'm not God, but anyway, how we experience what we see in creation is based on a reflection or a perception. And then we word it, we name things, and then we think about it different. And then we start having these more elaborate perceptions about what's going on around us that is not necessarily founded so much in what is around us, but our experience of it and who we are inside. Okay. Um, okay. So story time. I was in the reserves, Army Reserves for a while. I was active duty for a lot of years, but then I went into the Army Reserves and, you know, I was pretty wound up. I get wound up sometimes. And so we're at this mandatory fun day, and this warrant officer, I'm a sergeant first class standing there, and I'm standing next to my boss, who is a warrant officer. And then there's this other warrant officer over by the grill, and he turns around and he looks at me and he whistles like I'm a dog or something and says, "Come here, Susie." And as you know, Susie is a derivative of Susan, my name. And there's only two people in my life that I've ever allowed to call me Susie, and one of them's dead now. And the other one was my high school history teacher or junior high history teacher, and I just think it's cute. I was so mad so fast. He called me Susie and he whistled at me. And I mean, the warrant officer next to me, he could just feel the heat coming off of me like I was a little radiator, right? Radiator heater. I was so mad so fast. I mean, I'm sure my face started to turn red. And I, you know, puffed up and I took a step forward. And by gosh, I was going to say some shit to him that a sergeant first class should not say to a warrant officer. And I was going to straighten his ass out. And then all of a sudden, this little dog runs past me and runs up to him. And he bends down and pets her and gives her a little piece of sausage and said, "Good girl, Susie." Man, perceptions. Perceptions. I could have been in so much heat. And the fact is I used to teach resilience in the Army. So both these warrant officers used to get a big kick out of the fact that I would use this story. that they were a part of. But it really hit home how responsible you are for the thoughts that you have and the emotions that you generate from those thoughts and the actions that you take from those thoughts and those emotions, the things that you do to other people and things and how you think about people. And is it okay? Um, so in the army, we called that actions, thoughts, consequences. The same person that created that program for the civilian world, she called it, oh, I'm sorry, not actions, activating events, thoughts, and consequences. In the civilian world, it was called activating event, beliefs, consequences. So ABC. I'm going to include a link to her book. I'm also going to include a link to a great book along the same lines called Don't Believe Everything You Think. And these are two great books, The Resilience Factor and Don't Believe Everything You Think. You can look up, I might do, this is more of a concept with a follow-on practice video, but I at some point might do a video on ABC. I cannot do a video on ATC because I signed a paper saying I couldn't. And literally, there'll be no difference to you because that's how the Army works. Okay, so what does our perception serve? We need perceptions. We need to see, a lion eat something and go, oh, lion's dangerous. And then later on see lion, oh, look at that dangerous lion. We need our perceptions. We need to be able to function in the world. We need to be able to categorize things into like items. We need to be able to say, this is blue, even though it's not blue. And I have no idea what color this really is. I just know that it reflects blue. But we still need to be able to talk about it. And and language does form our pathology. Just like I talked about in the last video, when you say, oh, I got a bad shoulder or I got a bad knee, which I don't. I have great knees and shoulders. They're injured though. Okay, the trap is how you think about things. I got help. I don't want her to knock off my camera. How you think about things is becomes the lens that you think about things with. And so her lens, I've talked to her about her before. She was raised very gentle, and she is very gentle. And the lens that she probably looks at life through is not the lens of the cats that, I raised with a lot of vigorous play and things like that. Okay. And so that's going to be the case with you and me and everybody else, those of us that were raised with a harsh lens, has harsher opinions. Okay. And so those lenses that we need to categorize things become the cage that we live in. Stop making noise. The practice I want to share with you today is I want you to take a week or 2 or 6, however long it takes, and go through life not having an opinion unless it serves. Okay. Obviously, you have to look at a situation and go, what might I think about this? Does it serve to think that? And if it doesn't, if there's some action that would help somebody, oh, that woman's carrying a child and holding another child and she's trying to carry 6 bags. Oh, wow, that woman's got a lot to deal with. Does that opinion serve? Yes, it does. Go hold the door for her. Maybe offer to carry something, and then if it doesn't serve, wow, that lady sure let herself go. Man, I can't believe people do that, which is something I used to hear from people about, while driving down the street. Does that opinion serve, or is it just a rude indulgence? Is it just, like drinking or doing drugs, And so while you're doing this practice, if your opinion doesn't serve, don't have it. And you just go through. It's interesting how, one, your that pattern, that trap, that lens that I was telling you about starts to shift. And two, you start to slow down these things like, you know, come here, Susie. Well, Susie wasn't me. In fact is Susie, the real Susie wasn't even in my universe of thought. Like I had no idea. There was no shared reality that there was another Susie on the ground. And oh, by the way, I'm not a Susie. Um, so if you start taking apart that lens, you can start seeing other things out there that isn't part of your understanding, which can be really valuable when it comes to solving problems and not creating more pain for yourself. And the fact is this is just taking up operating space in your brain that you just don't freaking need if you're trying to be a resilient person that is trying to thrive through anything. Okay. So, what is your story? And please share it in the comments. I'm sure you'll have a story about misperceptions, and it could be good. And it could, like, I don't know, really send this point home for other people too. And so, comment that. Please like, subscribe, and share. And I will add these book links. I'll add my Venmo link in case you want to support the channel. I'll add my X and Reddit link. And come back next week. Bye.